Hey, something that's been the topic of discussion for the past few days, at least with a lot of people who follow me, has been why are so many pro-Second Amendment people unwilling to fight when it comes to protecting the Second Amendment? And I want to address that question because there's multiple answers, but I just want to deal with one distinction today that people need to be able to make. A lot of people are assuming that because someone is pro-gun, that they are pro-Second Amendment. They're actually two separate things. It's very possible to be pro-gun, but not be pro-Second Amendment. It's even possible to be pro-Second Amendment, but not be pro-gun. You can be like, I fucking hate guns, don't want anything to do with them, but I still believe the Second Amendment is the law and everyone else should be able to do what they want to do. But here's the thing, a lot of gun channels and a lot of people on the internet, and a lot of people, period, they're pro-gun, but they're not pro-Second Amendment. They like guns, they like to have guns, but quite often they might not think you deserve to have guns or that you could be trusted with guns. We all remember when Hickok was asked why he didn't support most gun channels, he said that because most of them are people he wouldn't want to be associated with. And I've heard him say that most of the people on the internet shouldn't be allowed to own guns. I heard that come out right out of his mouth. So just because someone's pro-gun doesn't mean they're pro-Second Amendment. A lot of people can be very pro-gun, but very pro-gun control too, because there are certain people, they don't want to have guns. Like say, a lot of the racist gun laws that existed in the South and started in the South and spread, those were because a lot of people that liked guns just didn't want certain people having guns. So there's a big difference. And believe me, I know. I can honestly say I have been on both sides of this. I used to be just pro-gun. Guns for the right people. But as I got older, I know a lot of people say as you get older, you get more cynical. I found it to be the opposite, to be truthful. As I've gotten older, I have come to count on people to do the right thing in most cases, on an individual basis. You get mobs of us together, yeah, we do stupid shit, but on an individual, person-by-person basis, I do believe the vast majority of people are good people and try to do the right thing. So as I've gotten older, I've become more pro-Second Amendment. Also because I've gotten to understand where when you allow the government to violate one rule, then it opens the door for them to violate lots of other rules. Now, I'm not saying everyone should just be handed a free gun. Oh, that'd be nice. But I agree, some people shouldn't have guns. People that are currently incarcerated shouldn't have guns. If you're in prison, yeah, you lose your rights while you're there. You should get them all back when you get out. And if you can't be trusted with a gun when you get out, then don't let you out until you can be trusted. It's about rehabilitation, not just time limits as far as I'm concerned. Also, people that have been mentally adjudicated shouldn't have a gun. That is a long, tiresome legal process. And usually the people that are being adjudicated aren't even fighting back, but it's still long and arduous because it's set up in a way to make it very hard to do. People usually don't fight back because they're usually not capable of it because they're mentally deficient. But those people shouldn't have guns. They basically have been said, you are basically a child now in the eyes of the law, and they just have the same rights any child has. They have a right to be treated with dignity. They have a right to not be abused. They have a right to not be exploited. They have all kinds of rights, but they don't have the rights of an adult. And Second Amendment is an adult right. Most rights are adult rights, but some rights go to children too. But as you can see here, it's very easy to be pro-gun, not pro-Second Amendment. And here's the way you tell if someone's actually pro-Second Amendment. If someone's pro-Second Amendment, like I've become, they don't believe in any infringements, period. They don't believe in background checks. They don't believe in felons not being able to buy guns. They don't believe in, if you've been charged with domestic violence, then you can't own a gun. They don't believe in red flag laws. They don't believe in banning bump stocks. They don't believe in any infringements on free, legal citizens. If they don't believe that, they're not pro-Second Amendment. They might be pro-gun to one degree or another, but they're not pro-Second Amendment. So for those of you that are wondering, why isn't this channel fighting? Why isn't this channel fighting? Well, go ask them. Are you pro-gun or are you pro-Second Amendment? And if you're just pro-gun, you believe in restrictions, you believe in reasonable compromise. And let me tell you, that's one of the biggest misnomers in the world. Reasonable compromise isn't you give away something every time the other side gets upset. That's not reasonable compromise. At the point we're in history now, reasonable compromise between the Second Amendment and the anti-gunners would be, okay, you can't restrict anyone from owning the guns, but we'll do the best we can to make sure people who do own them don't do anything wrong with them. That's reasonable compromise. We're way beyond that. So anybody who wants to compromise more really has a reason why they want to give away more rights. It's because they have something against certain people. They don't want certain groups, be it rednecks, blacks, Hispanics, whatever. They look down on a certain group of people and think those people don't deserve their rights because they believe in compromising. And that's why they want to compromise. If you're pro-Second Amendment, every legal, free citizen, their rights to bear a gun shall not be infringed. If you're just pro-gun, it can be, I'm pro-guns for me, or I'm pro-guns for people that I like, or I'm pro-guns for everybody except these people, but you're still not pro-Second Amendment. So like I say, go ask your favorite channels. Are you pro-Second Amendment, or are you pro-gun? If you're just pro-gun, to what level? Who is it you think shouldn't have guns? What reasonable compromises do you think we should make, or just compromises do you think we should make? I think it would benefit a lot of people to know these things. Maybe then you'll know where the channels you follow are coming from when they do the things they do or don't do the things they don't do. So, like I said, go ask them, because nobody can tell you but them. You can get secondhand information from people who know them, but it's best to hear it from them. So a new campaign should be to go to your favorite gun channels, go to your people in your real life, go to people on the internet, YouTube, etc., and say, hey, listen, I just want to know where you're coming from. Are you pro-gun or are you pro-Second Amendment? Because I really know how I feel about it. I'm not really for a lot of people that are just pro-gun. Now, I'm not casting out people that are just pro-gun because I hope that they will eventually evolve into being pro-Second Amendment. But if someone is actively using their own prejudices, their own biases, and their own opinions to damage the Second Amendment, or worse yet, selling our rights for money or being complicit in selling our rights for money, I want to know. Because you can't do that if you're pro-Second Amendment. You can't sell rights for money. You can't be involved with groups like the NRA that have been doing that for decades if you're pro-Second Amendment. You can if you're pro-gun. You can justify anything when you have buts in your beliefs. And we all have butts, I guess. But like I said, let's start hearing about from people from their own mouths where they stand. Are you pro-gun or are you actually pro-Second Amendment?
Oops.
Go ahead. It's a lady at 46 South Road. 46 South Road.
Station 1 call, retone that please.
10-4.
Captain 4 to go to that location also. The address is 19, is that correct?